John, this is your patient, Michelle. She had come in about a year ago, I guess, and we had planned for implants in 5, 12, and 14. And made the surgical guide to place the implants in the correct positions, and everything looked great on follow-up x-ray. So there's our implants in. The plan was for single tooth crown here and 3-unit bridge. And eventually, your office restored the 3-unit bridge. Everything came out fine, but you came back in later on, and this implant had failed or fractured, or one of the two. Anyway, we had to wind up taking it out, and we removed the bridge, made a provisional with a cantilever ponic off of 12, so 12 to 14, and this is 14, this is 15. She's only in first bicuspid occlusion at the time. So our plan was to go back to replace this implant, and I was telling her that she might need another bridge, which she was pretty bummed out that she didn't have a lot of life in that bridge. And typically what we do is we don't charge patients for new implants or the resedation or the bone grafting or anything if it's not a patient issue. The implant failed. I don't think it had anything to do with her. So we had done everything, but she wanted to try to reutilize this bridge if she could possibly, so she didn't have to pay for another one. So what we did was scanned her upper arch, and since I originally had designed her surgical guides that I showed you, I was able to re-image her old CT scan with the new CT scan. So this little purple here is the tooth that she had in place with the implant, and this red implant is the planned implant position for the surgical guide. So I created another surgical guide for her, placed the implant in site number 15. And then it healed and we were ready to restore, so I scanned it again with the intention of trying to reutilize her upper bridge. Well, since we did all the design work for the custom abutments, I was able to image her old custom abutment versus the new custom abutment. Right, so you can see the change of angulation, because it wasn't perfect, because I used I didn't use a fully guided surgical guide. I used a partially guided surgical guide. So that the angle of rotation of the abutment is off by about 12 degrees, but you can see the head of the custom abutment is exactly the same between the two. You can see the variances and the changes of the custom abutment to her old one to her new one. And we recently replaced the bridge in there on a new custom abutment. So you see this abutment's wider, the implant's wider, so it should be a lot stronger. So I think she's happy with everything. It took us a while to redo this, but this is part of the new surgical guide that we did for that one implant to try to get in that same trajectory and same angle. And I knew it'd come out within a relative close approximation to where it was, and we just had to re-cement the bridge. Well, we re-cemented the bridge yesterday, and I just wanted to fill you in because I'm referring her back to you for routine hygiene. The only thing I wanted to mention was whatever lab made this pontic is not ovate. It's got a concavity underneath it, and ideally what I would do is just add some porcelain to the intaglio surface of this bridge to correct the ovate pontic spaces so I don't create any type of food trap. But I don't know what type of zirconia this is, and I was uncomfortable baking that and then having the bridge fracture and then I own the bridge. So I just kind of want to give you a heads up on the bridge itself. And so what I did was I actually delivered the bridge and let her go for 2 weeks. She walked around with the bridge with temporary cement. She came back in, took the bridge out. She said she was happy with it, and she wouldn't get a lot of food impact, and it was relatively clean. I don't see any issues, but just wanted to give you a heads up. All right, man. I'm referring it back to you. Thanks so much.